One is at Kasturba Gandhi Road, one is at Minto Road, one is at Jodhpur House, and another is at Netaji Nagar.
On 5th of August 2025, Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Manohar Lal Khattar announced that offices operating from 4 government bhavans will be temporarily relocated for 2 years to 4 new sites on Kasturba Gandhi Marg, Minto Road and Netaji Palace during the construction period. The very next day, the minister stood beside the Prime Minister as he inaugurated Kartavya Bhavan 3 at Kartavya Path in Delhi. The first of several upcoming common central secretariat buildings designed to streamline administrative processes.
The buildings are no more centrally corridor and rooms on both sides. They have open offices, they have a much better work environment. When you sit in the room, the view inside and outside, it has a central courtyard, the present building which Prime Minister has recently, so both sides when you sit next to window, and sitting next to window looking at a green is always a much emotionally good experiences. And then they ensure that you have all connectivity and modern connections from as required.
Change is a constant, its intent always open to interpretation.
As far as heritage is concerned, the accepted norm is that a building which has architectural, archaeological or cultural, historical importance and is more than 125-year old can be brought under heritage lists, and then those buildings need to be protected. The buildings that are being repurposed, the old secretariat, the north and south block that are being presented as old buildings, or the argument that was put forward to move out of the Sansad Bhavan was that they are old buildings.
Lachin's Delhi was designed as a colonial white town. Its wide, leafy pathways and bright, whitewashed bungalows ever distant from the metropolis that grew up around it. Ironically, the colonial masters of India inhabited this space for a mere fraction of the years to pass. The bulk of the intervening century taken up by the leaders and administrators of an independent India.
This space was actually set aside by the first master planners of Delhi in 1962, taking away from that colonial impulse which had reserved them for government buildings and designated most of these buildings as public, semi-public land. Which is to say they can only be used for purposes which directly benefits the public. Semi-public would mean things like museums and so on, which are not free for entry always, but they are public in nature. So that brilliance of that thought, which said that let's minimize government at the heart of the capital of India.
On 12th of December 1911, at the Grand Darbar in Delhi, to celebrate his coronation, King Emperor George V made his most important announcement. He declared that Calcutta would no longer serve as the capital of the Raj. The nerve center of British colonial power in Asia was to shift to Delhi. The declared intent behind the creation of this new capital was Britain's unfaltering determination to maintain British rule in India. The Delhi of 1911 was a pale shadow of the erstwhile Mughal power and influence. The shifting of the capital raised questions of how the prestige and authority of the British Empire ought most appropriately be represented in stone. Delhi was a backwater, past its heydays. What was needed was a facelift. A new Delhi needed to rise to take the place of the old.
इक्कीसवीं सदी के भारत को 21वीं सदी की आधुनिक व्यवस्थाएं चाहिए, इमारतें भी चाहिए। ऐसी इमारतें जो टेक्नोलॉजी, सुरक्षा और सुविधा के लिहाज से बेहतरीन हो, जहां कर्मचारी सहज हो, फैसले तेज हो और सेवाएं सुगम हो।
The contract for designing the ambitious revamp of New Delhi's Central Vista, or the seat of power in the national capital Delhi, was awarded to HCP Design Planning and Management Private Limited, an architectural firm led by Bimal Patel. The Ahmedabad-based Bimal Hasmukh Patel is considered a pioneering architect. His list of achievements include designing the Kashi Vishwanath Corridor and the Sabarmati Riverfront project. In 2011, HCP Design Planning and Management had also designed the new office space Swarnim Sankul for the then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi and his cabinet of ministers. A dozen years later, Narendra Modi, now as Prime Minister, unveiled the first major building of the new Central Vista, designed and executed by the same architect.
साथियों, ये सिर्फ एक भवन नहीं है, ये 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की आकांक्षाओं और सपनों का प्रतिबिंब है। ये विश्व को भारत के दृढ़ संकल्प का संदेश देता हमारे लोकतंत्र का मंदिर है।
This was the first building that rose as part of the determination to build a new New Delhi. The triangular-shaped new Parliament building is in many ways distant from its next-door neighbour and its circular predecessor.
Very significant events in our history have happened there that Parliament has seen. great minds speak. A constitution has been written within that building. Very many other such events have happened in that building or many buildings surrounding it. Each one of them is significant in its own way, and it is a part of modern Indian history since independence.
The designers of Central Vista redevelopment explained the shape as having primarily been influenced by the triangular plot of land that was available. But additionally, it also represented the symbolism of three, embodied in the significance of triangles across sacred geometries of ancient Indian cultures. The new parliament, like the old, catered to the presence of three main spaces within the building: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and a central lounge.
When does a building become old? The parliament was inaugurated in 1927. Okay? How old is the British parliament? Do you have any idea? The building? The building, 1,000-year old. It's a 10th century old building. The American Parliament, the French Parliament. The parliaments that you build are, and they become part of they are an institution. You just don't jettison them and go into another building.
Nineteen opposition parties led by the Indian National Congress announced their collective decision to boycott the inauguration ceremony of the new parliament. They criticized the government for not asking the head of state, President Draupadi Murmu, to open the new building. They also denounced the decision to hold the event on the birth anniversary of Hindu nationalist ideologue V.D. Savarkar.
We, Congress party, discussed with all other like-minded political parties. I am very happy to say that, including TMC, Aam Aadmi Party, all are, including BRS also. They are all in agreement with this sentiments, boycotting the inaugural function.
देश की आर्थिक स्थिति खराब है, फिर भी लाखों करोड़ों रुपया, सैकड़ों करोड़ रुपया खर्चा करके जिस तरह से प्रोजेक्ट को सिर्फ प्रधानमंत्री की इच्छा के लिए बनाया, क्या उसकी जरूरत थी?
The BJP said the opposition's boycott was a disrespect to democracy.
ये नया भवन हमारे स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों के सपनों को साकार करने का माध्यम बनेगा। ये नया भवन आत्मनिर्भर भारत के सूर्योदय का साक्षी बनेगा। ये नया भवन विकसित भारत के संकल्पों की सिद्धि होते हुए देखेगा।
The critics of the Central Vista redevelopment project questioned other features of the redesign initiative.
When we are building blocks of buildings, massive buildings, 2 basements deep, what are we doing but creating underwater dams? Even when they renovated the Rajpath lawns and they built these underpasses for pedestrians to use, and it may be fanciful to say so, but even if you go back into the statistics, there have never been floods in that central portion of Delhi. It is after the project came up that we began to see floods in that portion of Delhi as well, which would otherwise be extremely well drained towards the Yamuna.
To many, the high cost, running into tens of thousands of crores of rupees in escalating costs, was a drawback. Well-known architects and urbanists wrote op-eds in newspapers and magazines. They appeared on online portals and news channels articulating their concerns. International celebrities like Anish Kapoor argued that it represented an assault on Indian democracy, a demolition of its modern secular ideals, and the building of a new India with a non-democratic sectarian identity.
Over thousands of years, we developed a technique of building structures with thick walls, high ceilings, so that the buildings inside remain cool in the summers and warm during winter. Now what we have built is glass, and glass is terribly environment unfriendly. You will need to air condition all these buildings. They are only going to add to the heating up of this entire area. So this kind of architecture, how does that lead to a modern India?
Large percentage of building is being built after demolishing earlier building and rebuilding. Yes, there may be some areas where green spaces have been taken, but when you demolish earlier building and rebuild, you ensure that you leave more green than those buildings had, the one which is demolished. So that part was taken care by the architect who designed these buildings. It has more setback from Kartavya Path than the earlier buildings. It has more greenery towards Kartavya Path than the earlier buildings. It had a central courtyard which is also green. And so the greenery part has been taken care, yes.
When the British decided to move the centre of power to Delhi, the task to design the new capital city was entrusted to two architects, Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker. The key buildings to be built were intended to be arranged along an east-west urban axis nestled within a vast landscaped green, vistas, water channels and tree-lined avenues. This central core of a grand architectural ensemble set amidst a carefully designed landscape and avenues was referred to as the Central Vista. The project brief stated that this new site must be in close physical and general association with the present city of Delhi and the Delhis of the past. It went on to state that a well-planned city should stand complete at its birth and yet have the power of receiving additions without losing its character.
ये केवल कुछ नए भवन और सामान्य इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है। अमृत काल में इन्हीं भवनों में विकसित भारत की नीतियां बनेगी, विकसित भारत के लिए महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय होंगे। आने वाले दशकों में यहीं से राष्ट्र की दिशा तय होगी।
Change comes at a price. Change comes with interpretations. Along the Central Vista, a new sense of nationhood rises, challenging the strictures of the recent past. This sense is itself challenged by an India that is and was unified by its pluralistic syncretic hues. On the one hand, government literature states that in the shadow of history, dreams of tomorrow abound, as a bold new chapter is crafted in the heart of New Delhi. The view from the other side of the Vista states that this redevelopment is about a reinventing of the state, of secularism, of history, and of democracy. All of it made physical and visible in buildings that rise to obliterate the past.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
Vista windows, beautiful and durable designs. Installation से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस. आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए.
Find Finer Finesta.
Other opposition parties. They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. Stop. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
जय जवान, जो मैंने शुरू किया था ये एक्चुअली. मैं दोबारा आया हूँ आप लोग से मिलने के लिए. मुझे बड़ी खुशी है आप देख रहे हैं YouTube पे मेरी फिल्म. वाह क्या बात है, क्या बात है. देखिए जय जवान मेरे साथ 15 अगस्त को सिर्फ NDTV पर. जय जवान, जय जवान, जय हिंद, जय हिंद.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
And you know, that's why it's being said that after Kaho Na Pyar Hai, this is the film that has got two superstar debutants who are becoming superstars. But what was this faith that you had on these two that you know that shows on screen?
You know, you don't plan to make a blockbuster. You plan to make a good film. And that's what I think they never let me, they didn't put that pressure on me to live up to. They never gave me a number that we have to hit or or a so-called figure that I have to open to. There was all these trappings were just not there, which normally producers do end up putting that pressure. You know, then you make wrong things. Then you add a song for a shadi song, add a Punjabi song. All these trappings were not there in this film. They were like, just go there and make your film. Do this script. We love this script and make it honestly. And I think the minute that happened, a filmmaker I could just spread my wings and just go out, not worrying about a few. I think when you do that, you get a little more fearless, and then that's what got picked up by people. So I cast appropriate for the film. I didn't cast thinking. I cast what felt right.
You were saying that you are going to say no to him.
Yeah. But that's his fault. Huh? He was now you see, now that we can talk about the film, Krish Kapoor cannot be a timid, sweet boy.
Yes,
sir. How are you, sir?
Last time we spoke.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this guy? He was a sweet boy, and then then by the end of the night, I could see the boisterous self, and I could see the Krish Kapoor who could stand on top and say, "Don't forget this name, it's Krish Kapoor." So I think I was looking for that a bit. I needed a spark of that.
Pulling us into this country. They argue, I conclude. नाम, नमक और निशान, वैसे तो हर परिवार, समाज और देश के लिए इसके मायने अलग होते हैं, लेकिन जिस समय आप बॉर्डर पर खड़े हों, उस समय यही नाम, नमक और निशान भारतीय फौज का लक्ष्य बन जाता है, परम लक्ष्य बन जाता है। नमस्कार, आपके साथ मैं हूं मीनाक्षी कंडवाल।
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम है अंकित त्यागी और ये जो कटीले तार हैं ये आपको बताएंगे कि इस वक्त हम अखनूर में भारत पाकिस्तान जो LOC है उसके पास बिल्कुल खड़े हुए हैं और आपका स्वागत कर रहे हैं जय जवान के एक विशेष एपिसोड में। मीनाक्षी, 2 कारण हैं इस एपिसोड के विशेष होने के।
देखिए, पहली वजह, आज जब हम इस समय अखनूर में मौजूद हैं तो ये मौजूदगी जय जवान एपिसोड के लिए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के ठीक बाद हो रही है। वो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर जिसमें भारतीय सेना का शौर्य, उनका पराक्रम और दुश्मनों पर टूटने की उनकी क्षमता को सिर्फ दुश्मन ने नहीं, भारत ने देखा, पूरे विश्व ने देखा।
और दूसरी वजह खास इसलिए है क्योंकि हमारे साथ वो सरफरोश इस कार्यक्रम में जुड़ेंगे जिनका दंगल लोगों के दिलों पर राज करता है, जिनकी रंग दे बसंती मिजाज पर कोई क्यों फना ना हो जाए। जी हाँ, हमारे साथ जवानों के साथ एक दिन गुजारने के लिए इस वक्त जुड़ रहे हैं सुपरस्टार आमिर खान। सर, थैंक यू सो मच। वेलकम टू जय जवान।
यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम सर।
थैंक यू सो मच।
एंड लाइफ कम्स फुल सर्कल इन दिस, राइट?
हाँ, मुझे
जय
याद
जवान
है।
फर्स्ट एपिसोड वाज आमिर खान।
एक्चुअली उस वक्त तो जय जवान था ही नहीं। उस वक्त 8 दिन हमने सफ़र किया था हाईवे पे लेह से लेके श्रीनगर तक, और रास्ते में जितने रेजिमेंट्स हम लोग को रास्ते में पड़े थे
जी,
उनके साथ हमने वक्त बिताया और बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला। इस बात को अभी 23 इयर्स हो गए, 22-23 इयर्स हो गए।
23 इयर्स,
हाँ 23 इयर्स हो गए।
आपको याद है सब कुछ उस समय?
मुझे सब याद है। मैं पहली रेजिमेंट को मिला था असम रेजिमेंट, और उन्होंने मुझे एक लाल रंग का शॉल दिया था जो आज भी मेरे पास है।
क्या बात।
और मेरी गाड़ी में पड़ा रहता है, जब भी मैं शूटिंग पे रहता हूँ, रात को कभी सर्दी वर्दी होती तो मैं वो शॉल पहनता हूँ।
बहुत सारी चीज़ें बदल गई हैं, लेकिन एक चीज़ इसमें कॉमन ये है कि तब आप कारगिल विजय के बाद गए थे और इस बार आप सिंदूर ऑपरेशन की विजय के बाद।
हाँ, ये भी एक कोइंसिडेंस है और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि हम लोग ये युद्ध भी जीते हैं। ये जो हमारा ऑपरेशन है सक्सेसफुल हुआ है एंड वी आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ आवर आर्म्ड फोर्सेस।
जिस वक्त हम बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर एक फॉरवर्ड पोस्ट से ये आपको ये दिखा रहे हैं कि पेट्रोलिंग पर हमारे जवान जो हैं वो जा रहे हैं। वुड यू लाइक टू जॉइन देम? वुड यू लाइक टू वॉक विद देम?
तो ये माइन का चेकिंग हो रहा है।
हाँ, ये अभी पेट्रोलिंग के लिए ही निकले।
साहब से पूछते हैं।
साहब ये जो हम आना जाना के टाइम में रात की समय हो, जो हम खाली जैसे चेकिंग नहीं हो पा रहा है, उसी टाइम में कोई क्लेमो माइन हो, जो भी एंटी टैंक माइन हो, जो लगा देता है, तो ये माइन डिटेक्टर उसी से डिटेक्ट कर लेता है,
पता चल, और
साथ में अपना नंगा आँख से भी चेक कर लेता है। तो अगर माइन मिल जाता है तो हम इसको मार्क करके रख देता है और बाउंस कोड को बुला देता है, उसके बाद वो बाउंस कोड वाला इंजीनियर है वो डिस्ट्रॉय कर लेगा।
तो वही है ना, एक सैनिक जो है वो जीत हार से परे वो युद्ध करता है।
हाँ,
युद्ध ही तो वीर का प्रमाण है।
हाँ मैम, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर हमारे साथ थोड़ा समय बताने के लिए। विल टेक यू टू अ बंकर एज वेल।
ओके, लवली।
सो लेट्स डू दैट, लेट्स टेक यू एंड जस्ट सी कि इतने इस मौसम में, किसी भी मौसम में, सर्दी गर्मी में, कैसे हमारे प्रहरी, हमारे जवान, आर सोल्जर्स आर ऑलवेज रेडी।
जी जी जी।
अब आपको एक बंकर में लेके चलते हैं, एक फॉरवर्ड पोस्ट पर।
फॉरवर्ड पोस्ट है ये, हाँ।
बिल्कुल यहाँ से आप आफ्टर यू
जी।
ये सबसे जरूरी
तगड़ा
काम है।
तगड़ा सर। जय हिंद सर।
जय हिंद
सर। ये तो ये फॉरवर्ड सबसे जरूरी काम है, लगातार आपको चौकन्ना रहना है और निगाहें दुश्मन की।
फॉरवर्ड पोस्ट है तो दो लोग रहते हैं हमेशा फॉरवर्ड पोस्ट में, तो एक अंदर रहता है, एक बाहर रहता है। ऐसा क्यों?
क्योंकि अगर पीछे से आ गया कोई तो हमें पीछे करता।
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट, एक अंदर एक बाहर।
तो सबसे पहली वॉल आप हैं,
वॉल ऑफ डिफेंस।
अंदर जा सकते हो?
जी सर।
हाँ
आइए।
जय सर। थैंक यू थैंक यू सर। तो यहाँ से आपका पूरा लुकआउट होता है। हाँ, वहाँ तक पूरी नजर जाती है। कितने घंटे यहाँ कंटिन्यूस खड़े रहते हैं?
सर ये 6 घंटे।
6 घंटे कंटिन्यूस, ब्रेक नहीं मिलता बीच में?
बीच में आपस में बदलते हैं।
आप आपस में बदलते रहते हैं, फिर 6 घंटे के बाद दूसरे लोग आते हैं। 60 आवर्स का। अच्छा, रात के समय फिर लाइट्स, यहाँ पे लाइट्स लगाते हैं?
लाइट के साथ फेंसिंग में लाइन लगी हुई है और हमारा रात को देने के लिए हमारे पास ये।
अच्छा, ये रात के लिए,
ये नाइट विजन है।
आप लोग जो काम करते हैं ना, वाकई कमाल कमाल। पूरा देश जो है वो आप पे बहुत प्राउड फील करता है, बहुत गौरव हम लोग फील करते हैं आपके लिए।
अगले पड़ाव की तरफ चलते हैं।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, थैंक यू।
तैयार हैं आप?
बिल्कुल तैयार है।
लेट्स गो।
अभी तो पूरा दिन बचा हुआ है। हमें सर टेल मी वन थिंग बिफोर वी रीच आवर नेक्स्ट डेस्टिनेशन। वन ऑफ माय वेरी फेवरेट कैरेक्टर्स ऑफ ऑल टाइम आमिर खान हैज बीन एसीपी राठौर।
अरे वाह,
सरफरोश।
दैट्स माय फेवरेट कैरेक्टर।
कब से वेट कर रहा हूँ कि उसका मतलब एसीपी राठौर का दोबारा कब वो एक नए एडवेंचर पे जाएंगे।
हम लोग उस पे काम कर रहे हैं, सरफरोश 2 पे स्क्रिप्ट